Welcome to the news. To present it, my name is Jessie Colombo. The headlines. Kanyama woman whose husband was axed to death receives support. Police intervene in the case of two sexually abused girls. DEC takes over 15 houses belonging to Esther. ECZ registered 1,527 new voters as of June 1st. High levels of malnutrition in Mwense worries government. And in sports news, Barbara Banda misses WAFCON. And other news in detail. Kanyama constituency member of parliament, Monty Chukuli, has expressed disappointment over the death of one of his residents who has been axed to death by his nephew. 45-year-old Simonda Muyunda of Lusaka's Kanyama Masauku area was on Monday 27th of June 2022 axed to death by his nephew for unknown reasons, leaving behind a pregnant wife. Reacting to the incident in an interview with MUVI TV News, Mr. Chukuli says the incident is unfortunate, leaving behind a widow who recently came into Lusaka. He has advised the widow to visit her office for assistance in the wake of her husband and timely demise.
Kanyama constituency member of parliament Moti Chinkuli has pledged to come to the aid of a Kanyama widow whose husband was slain by the nephew. Mr. Chinkuli has described the killing of 45-year-old Simonda Muyunda as unfortunate, especially that the act was committed by the nephew.
Such things happen in my constituency, where someone from nowhere, for whatever reason, he thinks of just getting an axe or a panga to chop up the ankle, which is very, very, very sad. But sorry, and it's my condolences to the family for whatever they're going through. It's really sad, and I hope the police will take, will play their part into ensuring that justice is given to the bereaved family.
Mr. Chinkuli has advised the widow, who is also pregnant and taking care of a daughter, to visit his office to explore ways on how she can be helped.
They have just come into our constituency. I think it's just right that she passes through my office so that we can sit down and see how best we can come to her aid. I know it's hard in this era, but I think as a community we'll be able to sit down and see how best we can help the family. I'm aware that these things, they happen, and because there's a life that needs to be taken care of. We won't dwell much on what has happened, but let us see how best we can look at the family that has remained, so that we see how best they'll be able to survive. And you agree with me that losing a husband, being a breadwinner, you find the wife maybe is not doing anything. You'll be, it will be something that will disturb the family. And we're talking about, education. How will the widow, take care of the family? So it's the duty of the government to ensure that through the area member of parliament, to ensure that such issues are well attended to. They deserve.
For MUVI TV News, I'm Captain Afias in Lusaka.
Police officers have finally given audience to the victims of defilement case. Joy Namonga, mother to one of the victims whose video went viral on social media, alleging that police officers attempted to release the accused, who was not formally arrested and charged. One of the aggrieved mothers claims that on 30th June 2022, some officers at the state police station mocked her, asking to go and hire the most qualified lawyers if she is to win her case. The default girls are between the ages of 9 and 10 years, respectively, who are also cousins. while their mothers are said to be blood sisters. The victims narrated to MUVI TV News that on 23rd of June 2022 in Kabangwe in Lusaka, the suspect blackmailed the two victims for money in exchange for sexual intercourse. However, police officers claim the suspect has been in police custody, waiting to be formally arrested.
They are winning. Government. Where are you, government?
Government trophies.
But when government,
10 years na 9 years.
Those people, they use George, right? Them when meeting. Shishi baba na manzinga bakakawapo nomo. Shishi bafo batitire na bride there for me. Shishi.
Ero kuma offices konzo ko machira bachiralanda tamarwanda ni.
Hospital ntutwachi out mu office muso twaingira. Mutundushi na timurandanizi. Ababe nabantu barashupa. Kwingo kwa electrical yama keseji. Just because twaliba ignorance. Baba lipira na nguteti bina ngunishinge. Vaikarazi. When government, I'm appealing to you, my fellow women, fellow fathers to my children. Just do. Wherever you are, people in government, please, mother crying. I'm crying for the rights of my children, please. People, wherever you are. These policemen, they are defending foreigners. Foreigners, imagine.
Atinanguingesa na lawyers bang.
Now, my husband said, Nzabwana lawyer wag. Nanguingesa na lawyers are 15. If he has papers, Arapa bonds, because I 17 years. Umuntu watch under 15 years, I 17 years.
She is a mother of Kabangwe area in Lusaka. She conducted an online protest, which has since paid off after police officers reported did not pay attention to a case of suspected defilement for her daughter and that of her sisters.
And then? Okay, Mulmugecha? Mulmugecha and baby?
In a video that has gone viral, she is heard crying out for help as police were about to release a suspect on bond without being arrested and charged. However, after public outcry, the said police officers on Friday, 1st July 2022, treated the case with care and attention it deserves.
Our issue, after we came from the hospital, the police, the way the policeman was interacting with us, I wasn't happy. I felt like he was protecting the one who left our kids. Instead of him being on our side, it seems like he says, he was too, so I became emotional. And I was like, and then the police came the police. They're now handling the issue the way it was supposed to be. Yeah, you have received so many help. Said they are going to take that guy to Central, and I'm happy about that. They are now taking action. So, for those who supported me, thank you very much.
And some concerned neighbors who followed to the police station to offer solidarity to the two aggrieved mothers say,
the reason why I'm here is that one, I'm a parent, I'm an interested party because I've got girl children. So when I saw the video going viral on social media, I communicated with the mother, and fortunately enough, they were just my neighbors, according to what they said, and it took them to post on social media for the police now to be behaving in a good way, which shouldn't be the case. Let our police be professional. If these people were well handled yesterday, they were well received, and everything was okay, police. But sure, we're going to manage to social media and police. We are professionals. Let's be professional in whatever we are doing. We are working for the people. Let's not wait until the case is blown out of proportion for us to show our competence. No. We trust you. We believe in you. You are our protectors. And we want you to be doing the right thing for the people. So in Nabwera kuno boy konkai case, and for sure I'm going to follow up this issue until the end.
For this reason, police should learn to handle every case with the seriousness it deserves, as opposed to doing the right thing after public outcry. Liambela Mutumba, MUVI TV News in Lusaka.
The Drug Enforcement Commission DEC has taken possession of 15 houses located in Lusaka's New Kasama, believed to have been acquired using dubious means. DEC Public Relations Officer Matthias Kamanga says the houses are believed to be owned by Esther Nyawa Tembo. However, the Commission says it is yet to verify the name behind the properties. The houses are complete and ready for occupation and are believed to have been abandoned. He says the Commission has since taken possession of them.
The Drug Enforcement Commission has taken possession of 15 houses in New Kasama area in Lusaka, believed to be owned by Esther Nyawa Tembo. The houses that are complete and ready for occupation are believed to have been abandoned, and the Commission has since taken possession of them. The Commission is, however, yet to establish who Esther Nyawa Tembo is, and we are actually appealing for who this person is, for them to bring their documentation to prove ownership of the property. In the meantime, the property is being treated as a suspected proceed of crime because of various things that have been established by the Commission.
The Ministry of Health says it has found no biological cause for the disease being experienced by girls at Lunte boarding house. Minister of Health Sylvia Masabo says there is no need for panic as the situation is under control. Meanwhile, Masabo adds that the country is fully prepared to host the African Union Summit scheduled for this month.
While it is a non-infectious condition, we remain concerned and are responding to a sociogenic for laboratory testing. So far, all laboratory evaluations have been negative and therefore not pointing to any biological cause. Out of the 95 cases, 77 of the pupils are fully covered. 18 girls, however, are currently admitted to Kasama General Hospital for observations. These girls were noted to have developed the symptoms yesterday. They are, however, all in a stable condition. Our Disease Intelligence Agency, the Zambian National Public Health Institute, supported by their senior health practitioners, including neurologists, physicians, psychiatrists, are on the way to Northern Province to support a comprehensive follow-up of this new public health event. Instructions by the technical team that is seated with me at this high table. But starting with the preparedness of the African Union, how prepared are we as a country in the midst of COVID-19? I would generally say that Zambia is fully prepared. And as of last week, it was said that we were prepared. As you know, there's a multi-sectorial team from sector ministries.
But take a break on that note. Still to come is more news updates.
How to send and receive money to and from other networks. Step 1. Get some fresh air. Step 2. Say hello to a friend and save his time. Step 3. Bail a bro by sending him money directly on his phone. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
As COVID-19 cases keep rising, many business entities are affected and their revenue keeps going down. But together, we can fight COVID-19. Rumpi Enterprises provides you and your organization the safety you require in these hard times of the COVID-19 pandemic by using effective disinfectants procedures such as knockdown and residual disinfecting that helps prevent and get rid of COVID-19. We do knockdown and residual disinfecting procedures for homes, offices, hospitals, churches, and many more. Protect yourself and the people around you and get your business running with our powerful trusted disinfectants. Call Rumpi Enterprises on 0955 767835 or 095 992230 or come to the third floor, room 3, Tazara House, corner of Dedan Kimati and Independence Avenue. Follow us on Facebook, Rumpi Enterprises Limited. Always remember to observe the COVID-19 guidelines. Mask up, sanitize, social distancing, and staying.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has registered 1,527 new voters in its continuous voter registration launched on June 1st, 2022. Commission Chief Executive Officer Patrick Shindano says out of the 1,527 new voters, 1,043 are males and 484 are females. Mr. Shindamo says the new voters are from 9 provincial districts except Mongo, where the new voter registration was launched on Friday, July 1st, 2022, due to a by-election that was taking place in the area.
This is new registrations to 1,527. So the total new registrations for the month of June is 1,527. Total composition in terms of disaggregated by gender. So you have 1,043 males against 484 female. In addition to this, the Commission recorded 300 transfers. So when one makes reference to transfers, you're talking about people changing where they're going to vote from. And this could be as a result of numerous reasons. Key among the reasons is relocation. So one would relocate, for instance, if that's in Lusaka, they move to another jurisdiction and they know for that particular period, they will be based, for instance, now in Ndola, they will be able to transfer, and that accounted for 300. Replacements, we had a total of 584 replacements. So these are those that have lost their voters' cards or their voters' cards were damaged. So we had 584 replacements. So those are the general statistics. Allow me to also just provide a breakdown in terms of the composition, how they sit. With that, the highest numbers in terms of per district is Solwezi.
Some civil society organizations are saddened by the Electoral Commission of Zambia's position to not accredit citizen monitors to monitor the continuous registration of voters since the commencement of the exercise on 1st June 2022. Recently, ECZ informed the stakeholders that the Commission will not allow monitors access to registration centers to monitor the ongoing registration of voters, stating that the exercise is being implemented in an office environment which space may not be adequate to accommodate monitors. However, Chief Electoral Commission Patrick Shindano assured the CSOs during an ECZ stakeholders briefing held in Lusaka on 31st May 2022 that the Commission would be open and available to engage stakeholders on working out modalities for facilitating citizen monitoring of the ongoing registration of voters. Christian Churches Monitoring Group Committee Steering Chairperson Father Emmanuel Chikoya says the current position maintained by the ECZ erodes the transparency, accountability and credibility of the continuous registration of voters process. He says it is inconsistent with the principles for election management, monitoring and observation in the SADC region, which provides that critical electoral processes such as voter registration should promote a broad participation and should not inhibit the participation of the stakeholders.
Regarding the modalities on monitoring registration of voters that would not cause overcrowding of registration offices or indeed interference with the process. CCMG's observers who were initially allowed to observe a voter registration process on Friday, 3rd June, then later were asked to leave by the ECZ officials confirmed that the issue was not that there was little space in the registration centers or offices or that they were a distance, but simply that they had not received ECZ accreditation. What is important is for ECZ to acknowledge the principle of electoral process monitoring and provide a guiding framework on how stakeholders can effectively monitor the registration of voters and not to deny accreditation on the basis of operating space. We are of the view that the current position maintained by the ECZ erodes transparency, accountability, and credibility of the continuous registration of voters process and is inconsistent with the principles of election management, monitoring, and observation in the SADC region.
The government has challenged the citizens to be ambassadors of disability rights in their local communities they reside in. Livingstone District Administrative Officer Clement Mwanza, who was speaking during a disability rights meeting in Livingstone, says citizens have a role to play in ensuring that they end discrimination against persons with disability. Mr. Mwanza adds that this is because most parents and guardians tend to hide their family members due to their disability, thereby perpetuating a continued culture of segregation in societies. Preparations for the Mutomboko ceremony slated for 30th July 2022 are underway. Speaking when received funds from some funders, Organizing Committee Vice Chairperson Mumalumba says that this year's ceremony will be in line with government's efforts in promoting the tourism industry in the country. And one of the sponsors, IHS Communications Manager Sonile Litini, says that they will continue sponsoring such ceremonies as it is their mandate to strengthen communication towers.
Just thought that we're not just having the ceremony, we also want to showcase what does Wapula offer. There is Lake Mweru, there is Ntumbachushi Falls. So we have laid out activities like Meet the Mwata Ntumbachu. So as we are celebrating the COVID, as our Mutomboko, COVID guidelines will be very much observed.
Our budget stood at 900,000. To give you the figures that we have raised as at present, we are still collecting some more money to come. So we are hoping we will reach the target.
This is not the first time that we're sponsoring this very important traditional ceremony. As IHS Towers, as you're all aware, everywhere that you go, you will find a communication tower. We therefore have a vested interest in supporting the local communities where these towers exist. And one of the things that we want to learn is the preservation of positive cultural practices, such as the Mutomboko ceremony.
Watching MUVI TV's primetime news. We take a break. See you shortly.
The past 2 years have been a time of learning new ways of doing business in a new world, and many businesses are hungry to create new linkages. The Zambia International Trade Fair provides a platform for you to engage with the world, Showcase your product, share ideas, learn from others, and get recognized for your innovation. It is also a place to get away and be entertained by various acts. And this year's Back from COVID affair has got bangers lined up. We are not taking this return lightly. The trade fair will be high energy, high performance, high engagement, and high trade. Come on, grab a stand. Let's get back to business and take back the years that COVID has taken.
Nothing works up our emotions like a good game of sports.
Why not enter television go passa?
And just like life, all it could take is one crazy idea to change the game and set the stage for your success.
Okay guys, listen, we have to tighten our defense. You, make sure you pass the ball. Let's go.
This is how winners are made. They spot a chance to own the game and seize that chance to take their fate into their own hands. Are you ready to win? 1xBet. Bets for every taste.
Grandpa, will you please tell me a story?
This is the source of all good stories.
Ah, Grandpa, but that's only today's Daily Mail.
This newspaper has all the stories you need to know. Did you know that Zambia got its independence in 1964? And guess what? This newspaper covered the story. It was called the Central African Mail then. It also covered the story of Chiluba, re-ushering Zambia's multi-party democratic system. Sometimes this paper brought us sad stories. Other times it brought us great news. But this paper goes beyond facts. I got my first job by looking at the job advert section of the newspaper.
Wow! This paper really has everything.
Yes, it does, my grandchild. And this is the story of Zambia.
Zambia Daily Mail, without fear or favor.
Are you at home and want an easier and faster way to access and manage your Airtel account? Download the My Airtel app from your app store. Open the app, enter your phone number, click on Request OTP, enter your one-time PIN, and congratulations! You can now use the My Airtel app to top up, pay bills, send money, and much more. Be smart, be safe.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. In other news, Lukasha Member of Parliament George Chisanga has called on the police through the Ministry of Home Affairs to ensure that the application of Public Order Act is applied and given uniform to everyone regardless of their political affiliations, even if they are affiliated to government or otherwise. Speaking at a media briefing Friday afternoon in Lusaka, Lukasha lawmaker says that it is sad to see how people are being treated differently when it comes to the application of the Public Order Act. Meanwhile, leader of opposition party Brian Mundubile has challenged Cabinet Office to always be in Parliament to respond to the questions which the Zambian people are asking, wanting their members of Parliament in the House. He says such a behavior creates a bad impression not only to the Zambian people but also to the outside.
Could actually suffice. Our understanding of that is that there seems to be a selective treatment when it comes to dealing with people that are associated with the Patriotic Front. We are hopeful that those who are being appointed now are going to lead the way in ensuring that the rule of law is going to be complied with when it comes to dealing with individuals who are members of the Patriotic Front, like I said, either previous ministers or members of Parliament. We are also wanted to address the issue of the application of the Public Order Act. Lately, we have also seen that our colleagues have been selected when it comes to applying the Public Order Act. You may want to blame this on the police, but when the police operate under that atmosphere of fear, they would not apply the law, independently, and they will not apply it uniformly to individuals. You've heard what is happening in Chizabombo. If there's an attempt to demonstrate in support of the UPND's decision, permits are given. If there's an attempt to march against the decision of the UPND, permits are not given. Lately, there have been suggestions, there have been incidences where people that were going to march in support of the decision of the government to bring vendetta back to Chingola and Chizabombo, those permits were awarded. But there are people that would have wanted to march against the arrival of vendetta. We all know what vendetta has done in this country, and people have to be given the independence to make decisions. Of course, in every situation, there are those who support the government and there are those who don't support the government. But when you begin to see a systematic system where those who don't support the government are denied their right to exercise constitutional freedoms, then it means that the government is not applying the law uniformly. The most recent incident is where the unemployed doctors wanted to march. I think it is today or yesterday. They deposited their notification with the relevant authorities to be given a permit to march. And the authorities were looking at that document, and when the day came for them to march, they were told, no, you shouldn't march because we have not given you authorization. So you have what you would call a hangover by the police. They probably think that anything that you want to demonstrate against, if it doesn't agree with the government, then you shouldn't be given the permit. And if it agrees with the government, you must be given the permit. We want to call upon the police and through them, the Minister of Home Affairs, to ensure that the application of the Public Order Act is given or is applied uniformly to all the citizens, regardless of whether they want to demonstrate in support of the government or against the government. I think that's what I wanted to just indicate to the
I want to take this opportunity to implore Cabinet Office that ensure that you only set up cabinet meetings when Parliament is not sitting. And if at all for some reason, maybe a reason why you want to revise the floor price of maize upwards, then would allow you to set up that meeting even when Parliament is sitting. But ensure that ministers are in the House when the sitting starts. It creates a very bad impression to the Zambian people and to the outside when ministers who are supposed to answer questions on the floor of the House are not in.
The Health Workers Union of Zambia has appealed to government to expedite the recruitment of health workers in order to alleviate the chronic shortage of health workers in the country. Speaking during the 5th Quadrennial Conference in Kabwe District, Health Workers Union of Zambia President Prism says the development of the health workers across the country will greatly improve the patient health staff ratio currently obtaining in most clinics and hospitals. And the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions (ZCTU) Deputy Secretary General Joy Bene has appealed to government to increase investment to health sector and to provide health care on a universal basis in order to build real quality. More in the following report.
Zambia has held its 5th Quadrennial Conference to review the progress made in the last 4 years under the theme, Health Amidst COVID-19 is key to social and economic development. Mesim Sanide is the president for Health Workers Union of Zambia. She wants government to expedite the recruitment of the 11,000 health workers.
And then the union would like to urge the government to speed up the process of the deployment of the 11,760 health workers to cushion up the deficit of manpower in most of the facilities countrywide. As GS from ZCTU had mentioned, to say we are understaffed and we need these workers to come so that they can cushion us and so that we can also deliver the quality health care to the people of Zambia.
And Zambia Congress of Trade Unions ZCTU was represented by the Deputy Secretary General Joe Wene.
We want government to increase investment in health sector. It is imperative that government and the policymakers recognize the access to health and other caregiving facilities as basic human rights. You ignore this, I can assure you, your survival will be tricky.
Meanwhile, Central Province Permanent Secretary Muna Manakampwe says the country's economy is under intensive care unit.
I want to say that we shouldn't be shying from saying the truth.
Yes.
That the country's economy as it stands now is in ICU. It will take painful radical decisions for us to get back on track. And the starting point is to stabilize the macros and the micros.
Reporting for Zanis News in Kabwe District, I'm Daniel Billy.
Lapula Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Roy Mwanza has expressed concern over the high levels of malnutrition in Mwense District. Mr. Mwanza expressed the concern in a speech read on his behalf by Mwense District Commissioner Hapiston Mwapi during the District Nutrition Coordinating Committee DNCC learning event. Mr. Mwanza says Mwense is the worst hit in the province in terms of stunting, with the statistics indicating that over 47% children under 2 years are stunted. He called for concerted efforts by the DNCC and cooperating partners to improve the nutrition status in the district in particular and province as a whole. He says the malnutrition levels in the province stands at 45%, translating into over 117,000 and 5 children stunted, and that the burden of malnutrition and its effects are of great public health concern. The Deputy Permanent Secretary thanked the German corporation GIZ and other cooperating partners for their unwavering support towards a food and nutrition security program in the province. And speaking at the same occasion, a District Administrative Officer, Mlenga Mwonga, says the GIZ, in collaboration with NDC, has been implementing the Food and Nutrition Security Enhanced Resilience project in 3 districts of Lapula Province. Mr. Mwonga said the aim of the project is to improve the nutrition status for women of reproductive age and children under the age of 2 through increased knowledge about nutrition. Meanwhile, Communications and Advocacy Technical Working Group Chairperson James Chanda, who is also District Forestry Officer, pledged to implement various interventions aimed at lowering the stunting levels in the district. Well, on that note, we take another break. Still to come with more news items. Do not go away.
How to send and receive money to and from other networks. Step 1. Get some fresh air. Step 2. Say hello to a friend and save his time. Step 3. Bail a bro by sending him money directly on his phone. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Grandpa, will you please tell me a story?
This is the source of all good stories.
Ah, Grandpa, but that's only today's Daily Mail.
This newspaper has all the stories you need to know. Did you know that Zambia got its independence in 1964? And guess what? This newspaper covered the story. It was called the Central African Mail then. It also covered the story of Chiluba, re-ushering Zambia's multi-party democratic system. Sometimes this paper brought us sad stories. Other times it brought us great news. But this paper goes beyond facts. I got my first job by looking at the job advert section of the newspaper.
Wow! This paper really has everything.
Yes, it does, my grandchild. And this is the story of Zambia.
Zambia Daily Mail, without fear or favor.
Back in sports news, Kabata Member of Parliament Andrew Tayengwa says he will engage the Minister of Education to renovate Chilenja sports community facilities to a modern sports arena. In an exclusive interview with MUVI TV News in Lusaka, Tayengwa says that through the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) package from his constituency will support more different sports activities towards the empowerment of more talented players from Kabata.
Looking at football as the only sport, we want also to identify other sporting activities such as probably cricket and also basketball. We are also trying to see how best we can engage the Minister of Education so that we introduce pool in different schools, and me as the area member of Parliament to see how best we can donate pool tables in schools so that our children, they don't have to, those are our children who are in schools, they don't have to go to these bars to go and play pool. We want pool to be incorporated right in the school premises so that they have these what you call clubs within schools, and they'll be able to compete with each other. And that's what we want to do also in Kabata constituency. We want to do that at Chilenje schools. We have already done the initial drawings. We have engaged already the school, and we want to see how best we can also go and inform our colleagues at the Ministry of Education.
The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has released the final squad list for the Morocco 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations ahead of the tournament that kicks off this Saturday, July 2nd, 2022. Zambia will be without Ochumba Oseke and Siomala Mapepa for the opening match due to the suspension, while skipper Barbara Banda will be unavailable for medical reasons. Faza says Oseke and Mapepa will miss out due to accumulated cards during the qualification process. The association adds that outside the three players, everything else is fine, with the team looking forward to the opening match against Cameroon on Saturday. It has advised the public to fully support the team as it lifts the country's national flag high. Zambia plays Cameroon on Sunday before facing Tunisia on July 6th and wind up their Group B campaign 3 days later against Togo. Top 4 teams at the 12-national tournament will automatically qualify to the FIFA World Cup to be hosted by Australia, New Zealand. This is contained in a statement issued by Football Association of Zambia, Sydney Mugala, Communications Manager. And we end the news on that note, a recap of the top stories. Kanyama woman whose husband was axed to death receives support. Police intervene in the case of 2 sexually abused girls. DEC takes over 15 houses belonging to Esther. ECZ register 1,527 new voters as of June 1st. High levels of malnutrition in Wensa Warriors government, and in sports, Babla Banda misses WAFCON. Thank you so much for watching the news. This has been Jessie Colombo. Continue enjoying the rest of our programming on MUVI TV, your channel of choice.